All right, good morning, good morning, good morning. Thanks so much for joining the Wealthy, Healthy, Happy Show. We are back again on the last day of the year to finish out 2015 strong. We are in the midst of The Alchemist, going through this book here, and a little bit different than just reading it for leisure, but we're now just kind of studying it and grabbing some things out of it. So we're just continuing on this journey, still in part one of The Alchemist, but
Still.
this is what we're talking about today because there's so many nuggets just in each and every page that you read. So we encourage you to get this. I'm your host, ERGJ, your certified financial educator. We got Mr. Beatles in the building.
What's going on, wealthy, healthy, happy people? This is Mr. Beatles, Mr. Wealthy, Healthy, Happy, your financial planner and small business developer. I'm excited, so excited to be in the building today. How are y'all doing?
How are you guys doing? Hope you guys are doing well. So we got Brittany and Mr. Davey Hughes with us here today. And thanks so much for joining. Have you guys been reading the book? Have you guys been kind of following along? Hopefully you have. This has been another, either you've read it already and you're just rereading again, or you remember what you read, or you're reading it for the first time. But this book is absolutely phenomenal to be able to grab some things for yourself, for your life, and to transform. Oh, you finished reading it yesterday. It is a short read. It's only, I don't know, about almost 150 something pages.
Yeah, they ain't much.
But when you go through it, thoroughly, I'm pretty sure you got so many things highlighted or so many notes that were taken. And so, The Alchemist. And so what it is a book. If you know about Alchemist, Alchemist is the process of transformation, transforming material to a new material. So basically like lead into gold, being able to take what the earth gives you and transform it. And so the whole, when I first heard the title, I was thinking, well, The Alchemist, what would make me interested in reading that? I'm not into science. I'm not into alchemy. It's not really something I'm interested in. But after you hear so many rave reviews about a book, it's like, okay, well, let me at least pick it up and see what it's all about. And I am totally surprised. So we're talking about a guy named Santiago, a young boy, who is on a journey. And I guess The Alchemist, the best way to put it is he's on a journey of transformation, going from where he is to where he is going. He's going from what he's comfortable with to being uncomfortable, and he's in pursuit of his treasure. And basically, at the end of the day, he is in the pursuit of transforming himself so that he can be available, or he can attract which it is he's about to become, which is to attract this treasure. What started him on this journey was the aspect of the heart condition that he was going after. He wanted to present himself to a woman with what he was currently doing as a shepherd. Wanted to present himself to a woman, was getting all prepared for that, and then he started to have these dreams, and the dreams led him to do a few other things as far as really explore what these dreams meant, talk to a couple people, and now he's on his journey to Egypt, which is in Africa, and he's trying to figure out how he can get there. And so now he is really searching to get to the pyramids, to get to his treasure, really find out what is it that's there that's meant for him to acquire or to get or to become.
I'm gonna tell you where I'm stuck. I just ran into the king of Salem. Just ran into the king of Salem, and guy pops out of nowhere. He says, "Hey man, what are you reading there?" And he said, he showed him the book, and it was interesting what the guy said. He said, I've seen this book before. And it piqued Santiago's interest so much because he was like, what? I met this random old guy, and he knows how to read. And not only does he know how to read, but he has seen this book before. But what the king of Salem says next is so powerful. He says, man, I've seen this book so many times. There are so many people that read this book, and the book always ends the same way. And they always end up believing the greatest lie that was ever told. And that is that at a certain point in your life, you are not meant to achieve your personal legend. So I immediately it started thinking about the people that are born into poverty. They could believe the person, they could believe the greatest lie that, you know, all they'll know is poverty. The one that the one that grew up deaf, dumb, and blind, they could believe that their circumstance would cause them to stay just the way that they are, and they'll never reach their personal their personal legend. And he says that your personal legend, that is something that's God-given. It's something that you're supposed to find, and there are no limitations on how you achieve that. But having the courage to be on your path, to be on your road, finding your personal legend, seeking it out, because it is the most important thing in your life, is to understand your personal legend. It blew my top. And then I immediately went to my website and I started knocking that thing out, man. I said, "Oh, I got it. I know what my personal legend is."
Well, and the interesting thing about that as well is that he said that you reach a point where maybe you stop going after it, or maybe I think there's something to be very, very careful of, is to ever feel like you've arrived. Because once you you can be on the stage of, oh, I'm lazy, I don't want to go after it, or oh, I feel like I'm already have accomplished it. And so on one end is the apathy, which means, hey, it might be there, but I don't feel like going after it. I don't feel like putting in the work. I don't feel like putting the energy into seeking, grasping, and going after that. And then the other hand is like, oh, I've already done all that I need to do. And it's like, well, either end of that spectrum, there's still this thing called life. And life is always steadily moving. So there's always still progress that can be made in life in general. And so, yeah, so Mr. Dave said the treasure is always in your heart. With a strong heart, you can accomplish all you want, live your dream. But here's the thing about the dream, man. I've noticed in my life that the dream always evolves.
Yes.
You know, what I dreamed of when I was younger, what I dreamed of 10 years ago, what I dream of now, it's an evolution of the dream. So that's the thing about never feeling like I've arrived, because even though, yes, I got the good job before, that was a dream of mine, I accomplished that, but then boom, a new dream arrives. And I think for Santiago, same thing. He had a dream to travel. So he started to travel. He started to hit the job being as a shepherd to begin to travel. And then now his dream is evolving. And now there's a treasure for him to, the traveling is going to lead him to another treasure. So it's just absolutely phenomenal that that as we become, as we grow, as we adapt, as we evolve, our dreams also evolve as well.
Man, we are on. This is again, man. What we're doing right now is so life changing. It's crazy, and I know it's life changing because it's changing mine. So I can say that with 100% assurance and guarantee that this show is absolutely doing that. And it's amazing to see the parallels between what's happening inside of me and now what we're reading in the Alchemist. So our 30-day challenge that started with The Stranger's Secret, moving us all the way into I'm running back into the king of Salem, and he is telling us that your personal destiny is the key to life. And not only that, but you have to but you got to search for it. You got to reach for it. You got to strive for it every single day. What
so let's talk about this king for a second, because I think this is a very vital character in the story. Of course, it's the same king that's mentioned from the Bible, Melchizedek, who met with Abraham, and it's the same king that Abraham paid his tithe to, or made a portion to. And so I'm wondering if this king, as this king of Salem, which is the king of peace, he comes into the life of Abraham, he comes into the life of Santiago, he may even have visited the life of each and every one of us, to say that, hey, you have a place that you need to go. I'm here maybe to support you and hold you accountable, but nothing in life is free. So you still have to pay your tribute in order to get the information to confirm or validate the area or the place in which you are going. And it's interesting that he didn't just come with free advice. Because what happens when something is free? When something is free, we typically don't value it as much as when we actually put some money on it. We put something into it. And so
some equity, some sweat equity. Yeah.
And so he's paying a tenth of, his flock, which is his sheep, to Melchizedek, and Melchizedek is providing him with a roadmap of some sort to follow the omens in order to go on the journey to obtain his treasure.
Man, ain't it interesting, right? So I thought it was pretty funny when the 10% came up again, and Santiago started scratching his head like, man, everybody wants this 10%, man. What if I do accomplish my goals, man, and then I got to pay back all these 10%, man? I'm gonna be broke. And sometimes, just kind of as a side note, sometimes we know that we need the help. We know we need the mentorship. We know we need the guidance and the counseling, but many times we're afraid to make the investment, and we don't make the investment in our next level because we are thinking about cost, as opposed to what the return is going to be on the seed that you planted in the ground. And so you have to take these opportunities and know that what's in front of you is only going to exponentially grow your harvest. And we've run into so many people in our lives that have helped to guide and direct us along the way. There are books and materials and courses and coaches that can truly help you to get to that next level. And so what I'm encouraging everybody to do, and I'm sure that this has probably come up in your life from time to time, is invest in some coaching this year. Every great athlete, every Olympic champion, every world-class performer has had a coach or multiple coaches. And so the king of Salem is a representation of a lot of different facets, but again, a beacon of light. And this year is the year to invest in that beacon of light and do it with reckless abandonment.
Yeah, and you said something. You said they think about the cost versus the return, and so we have two different aspects that came up. We have the gypsy woman who we spoke to, who said, "Pay me 10% of your treasure once you get it." And then we have Melchizedek who said, "No, pay me 10% of what you have right now." Yeah. It's funny. It's interesting because I'd imagine that the 10% that he paid to Melchizedek is going to be a lot smaller than the 10% that he might have to pay the gypsy person, because the gypsy is saying, "Hey, I want 10% of your harvest." Melchizedek is saying, "I want 10% of your seed."
Oh, is that pre-tax and after-tax dollars? Is that what we're talking about? Are we talking about a qualified and a non-qualified contribution? Jeez Louise. Oh, that's good.
Yeah, so if you think about that, he's saying, "Hey, give me 10% of what you have now." And the gypsy woman is saying, "Hey, give me 10% of what you get later." And the idea for her is that the treasure that you get is going to be greater. Now, here's the interesting thing: we don't know what this treasure is. This treasure could be intangible,
right?
But she's saying, "Give me 10% of something," and I don't even know what it is that you're going to get. Even though I guess maybe she's probably foreseeing, or she has some type of idea of
that it was going to be credible. The harvest is going to be credible. Yeah.
But Melchizedek is saying, "Give me 10% of what you have now, and I'm going to give you something so that you can get greater later." And I just think these two characters, they represent some separate things in our lives. Who are the people that are willing to take your small investment in order to help you to get greater later? And who are the people who are just waiting around and not really investing in you and waiting to get a larger return later? It's a difference between the people that are going with you through the struggle and the people that are just waiting on you to make it.
Oh man, that's good. That's good. All right, that's so good. Because all right, so you have those people that are sitting around the campfire right now, and they recognize your greatness. They know exactly who you are. They know the work that you're putting in. They see the content that you're putting out. They love when you show up in the room because you get the party started, but they are not along for they're not in it with you. They're just kind of watching you from the sidelines. And those are the same people that aren't necessarily invested in your future. And so they sit around and they kind of want you they're hoping that you fail, because then you validate that you're just like them. But if you happen to make it, then they want to be a part of all of the fruit and the labor, the sweat and the blood that you put in order to get there. The sheep.
Yeah, they are the sheep. And then also think about this, man. There's something interesting about this gypsy and the Melchizedek. So the gypsy lady said, "Hey, tell me what your dream was, and then I'm going to interpret it for you." Well, here's the interesting thing. When he told her what his dream was, she just basically told him, "Oh, you got some treasure waiting for you in
oh, you rich.
You got some treasure waiting for you in Egypt." Like, that's what the dream told him. And she said, "You got treasure waiting for you in Egypt." Like, she didn't interpret anything, but then she's going to charge him for something to confirm what he just told her.
Yeah.
Now Melchizedek said, "Well, hey, there's treasure for you in Egypt, but yeah, go find the pyramids, and here's how you can do it, by following the omens." So he actually gave him something. He gave him those 2 stones, and he also gave him the great advice on how to actually acquire his treasure versus, "Hey, you told me what your dream is. Your dream is that there's treasure in Egypt. Okay, well, yeah, you need to go to the pyramids and find your treasure." Like, she basically confirmed what he had basically told her, and then she's going to try to charge him an enormous amount of money once he gets it. Yeah. Where Melchizedek said, "Well, hey, okay," he didn't even ask what his dream was. He was able to interpret where he was going.
Yeah.
And gave him some tangible steps and some great value on actually how to get it. And he's remembering, I don't know how far you got, but now he's remembering the old man with the breastplate. He's remembering King Melchizedek. And Melchizedek, that's one of the things he said. He said that, "Hey, at the end of the day, I just want you to remember my name."
Oh, that's Dan Pena, man. Hey, we were just talking about for those that don't know, again, I'm a make the connection between Melchizedek and this guy, this incredible guy named Dan Pena. And I had the pleasure of meeting him through video. Evan had the opportunity to actually experience him live at a conference, but I'm going to the castle this year, and he has this mentorship, but he wants his name. He wants to be known as the best high performance coach that ever lived. That was his thing. And I was looking at some of his past mentorships, and one of the things that he was telling his students is that what you pay me are really pennies. The reason why I'm even having you to pay me is because you wouldn't value it if you didn't pay me. But what I give to you, he was Dan Pena, he says, what I give to you is going to be 30 times, 100 times more great than the pennies that you pay me, or the 10th that you pay me. But I just want my name to be great. And I just kind of made that connection and went off on a tangent there. But I say all that to say this. Again, the beacons in your life, the coaches in your life this year, make the investment, because they are going to direct you this year. I can't stress that enough. You got to have a coach this year.
It looks like we got another book on top, man. Acres of Diamonds. That might be the next.
Oh, I like it.
Because Earl Nightingale mentioned that in the Straightest Secret, and I haven't read it, actually. I have not read that book. Might be something to throw on to maybe write it down. So, oh yeah, there, come on in, Mr. Hughes. It's open seats.
All right, so yeah, so we're writing that down. Acres of Diamonds, the magic story. Oh, very good, very good.
Very similar to The Alchemist, different but similar. Same sort of thing. An old guy sits on a box complaining he hasn't got enough money and he's looking for gold in his land and he can't find it. And every day goes looking for it. And somebody says to him one day, "What's in the box?" "Oh, I don't know. It's an old box." And when he opens, it's full of gold. Very interesting.
So we're sitting on our fortune.
That's it. We're sitting on it.
Yeah, we're sitting on our fortune. And all that Santiago dreams of and desires, he already has the answer. And what I'm finding is that you are your own salvation. And if you would just get out of your way and take all of the advice that you give to everybody else, because we're so good at finding and figuring out and solving problems for the world, but we have such a hard time doing that for our inner world. But the same advice, the same fixes, the same patches that we give to the world, those are the ones that we need. Those are the things that make us great. And so let's get it.
Yeah. So it's interesting. One of the things that I do in one of my coaching, sessions, depending on where you are in life, I ask this question, and it typically gets a great response because it is one of those self-analyzation questions that you really have to just get into. And that question is, I typically ask my clients, I say, well, hey, if your future self was giving advice to your current self, what would your future self say? Mm-hmm. What would your future self tell you, or what advice would your future self give you for your current state? And as you said, Ms. B, is that most of the time we can help someone else. We can give them a good word. But then when it's like, well, we're going through something, it's almost as if we don't really connect.
Get the word.
We can give ourselves our own good word, and in giving ourselves a good word, we can actually put in the work to do that good word as well. Because here's the thing, guys, a lot of times we tell ourselves all the good stuff. We tell ourselves what's the right thing to do. We know what we should do next. We know what's the next step. We know what's good for us, but there's that inner conflict between knowing what to do and actually doing it. I mean, I know, every day I pretty much know what I need to do every day, but doing it is the resolve. Doing it is where the rubber meets the road. Because I can know all day. Knowing is only half the battle. And I keep telling people that just because you know better doesn't mean that you do better, because you know what to do. But are you doing it?
Right. The application. Yeah, absolutely.
I reckon that's right, GJ, because we spend a lot of time coaching other people. We spend a lot of time, letting people know the secrets, if you like to. People ask me, what's the secret to being a terrific speaker, platform speaker? And I say, well, it's a fairly simple thing, really. And I explain it to them. Now, I spend a lot of time doing that. If I spent that amount of time on myself, I would exponentially grow my business.
That's right.
I give a lot of free advice. I give a lot of free coaching and mentoring young Toastmasters and people. If I took all of that time just for me and spent it with the people I want to be like, I would like to be the world champion in public speaking in 2016. To do that, I've got to pay a price. If I want to be coached, I've got to pay $4,000 a day. But if I really wanted it, I'd pay the money and find a way to pay it. But instead, I give advice to young Toastmasters: do this, do that, do the other thing.
Yeah.
And they can be like I am, and they'll be pleased with that. But I want to be like these other guys are.
Absolutely, there's a price.
It's weird.
There's a price to pay. We talked about the 10%, yeah. And we also have to understand who we're paying the 10% to. So again, going back to the gypsy woman or the King of Solomon that could actually get you there, right? And so determining who you're getting your information from and where you're going to make it the investment in 2016 is going to be very, very key to us getting to that next level, us arriving. So I say that to segue to say that if you have not visited the wealthyhealthyhappy.net lately, we've made some updates to our site, and the reason why we did so is so that we could help our journey and improve our walk along the way, and so we've curated some real high quality, high impact information, and the goal is to provide enough content this year to exponentially change our businesses, our family lives, our wealth, our health, our happiness.
So it's interesting. I want to say this one last thing, man, because we're talking about this 10%. You know, the gypsy woman asked for the 10%. Melchizedek asked for the 10%. There is something to that investment of 10%. And the question is more like, well, hey, are you willing to invest 10% in order to get a greater later? And when we say 10%, because we're talking about wealthy, healthy, and happy, we're talking about turning lead into gold. That 10% is your lead. The return is the gold that comes after. And so where are you putting that 10% in at? Where are you putting 10% of your money? Where are you putting 10% of your time? Where are you putting 10% of your energy? Where is it going? Because wherever you are investing it at right now, it is reaping you the harvest in which you are receiving. So if you don't like where you are right now, you don't like maybe the life that you live or maybe the situation that you're in, you got to ask yourself, well, where did I invest my 10% before? 10% of my time, 10% of my money, 10% of my energy. And then ask yourself, well, where am I going to invest it now so that I can become and I can have and I can be and I can create that which it is that I see for my greater self in the future. So we're talking about giving 10% of yourself right now so that you can have 100% of your best self later. Yeah. I'm going to repeat that again. Giving 10% of your life right now so that you can have 100% of your best self later.
Well, that's the greater later. I love that line, the greater later. If you don't mind, I'm going to use that. You know?
Absolutely.
I mean, I talk to my people that I coach as, you know, there's no gain without pain, and your pain will be studying now. Up the line, you'll be fine. But you've got to study now to get where you want to go. And that 10%, like the tithing in churches and all that, you can't have more information coming in if you're already blocked up with it. So you've got to get rid of 10% all the time. And that's the investment. So you can bring in new things, you know.
That's right. That's right. You got to empty your, in martial arts, we call that emptying your cup. Your cup has to be empty every time you step on the mat, because you always are going to learn something new. And if you hold on to what you learned yesterday and you say, this is all I got. I got it. I'm a green belt. I'm good. You won't progress. You won't learn anything else. You can't, because there's nothing else that can come in. So you have to always be in the process of giving, and being humble enough to submit to the new information that's coming in so that you do get better.
I don't do martial art, but my understanding of a black belt in martial arts is that you keep practicing and practicing. So as the black belt turns to white again, so it's like a circle. You just keep going all the time. That's right. You know, if you rest on your laurels, you're going to be an expert, but you cannot be an expert, or you cannot do today's business with yesterday's information. So even if you're an expert right up to this minute, you're not going to help people in the future.
That's right. So you got to keep learning. Yeah, that's right.
So Brittany said it's interesting. It's interesting that the gypsy asked for something he didn't have, and the king asked for something cherished by him. You have to be willing to sacrifice what you like to get what you dream of. It was shown again with his love in the desert. And then also, I think that he learned a lesson from the king. Later on, we'll see that the king informed him to never offer what you don't have yet. So whereas the gypsy one was asked for the 10% of something that he didn't have yet, the lesson for him is don't offer people or offer along your journey. Don't offer something that you don't have. And so don't offer 10% of your treasure again, because you don't have it yet. So you can only give from
what you have.
You can only give from where you are. You can only give from what's inside of you right now. See, some of us, if you think about it, man, how many people are experts in something they've never done before? They're experts in something that, you know what I mean? They can give you all the great advice, but they never experienced it. And
they never did the push-ups.
Yeah, they never did the push-ups. So, me as a financial educator, right? I've been through the journey of getting out of debt. So that's why I can teach people how to do it. Mm-hmm. Versus me just saying, hey, these are good concepts. No, here's the things that work for me. Right. So you qualify if all possible, the people which you do get whatever type of advice you get from, because they can't give what they don't have in the same fashion that he can't give to others what he doesn't have yet, and that treasure he didn't have yet. So that lesson that he learned was, hey, don't even offer it anymore. This dream later, only offer from the seed that I have or from the production from which I've received in my life right now.
Very good, very good. Brittany, why don't you get in this seat with
she waiting on the new year.
You got some jewels. You got some jewels down there.
She waiting on 2016, brother.
Oh man. Let's do it right now. It's the 31st. Let's get the party started right. Welcome everybody that has just joined. I think we got 2 new joiners. We got Daniel. We empower people to take charge of their own learning and are committed to sharing good practices in digital literacy skills. Interested to hear from you. Hopefully, maybe you'll join today. And then we also have E.D.S. Sincere Matthews. What's going on? And welcome. We're talking about
the struggle is real. Hey, so here's the deal, guys. We are, those that don't know, we're talking about investment cost of return. We're actually getting this from The Alchemist. We just read about Santiago and his journey to acquire his treasure. And there was this concept of a 10%. Is it a cost or is it an investment? Are you thinking about how much you're paying, or do you think about your greater later? Do you think about what you're getting in return for what you are investing right now? And so Mr. Beals, he can continue to say, hey, this year, 2016 and 2016, invest in a coach. Whatever it is that you are doing, whatever it is that you aspire to do, invest in a coach, invest in a mentor, invest in in counsel that can have an unbiased opinion, and unbiased advice, unbiased strategy and plan for you to actually get further along faster and more effectively, because they're not all tied up into your emotions. They're not all tied up into all that. They're going to look at the black and white, and here's what it is, and here's what's going on. Here's what I see. Boom, abstract, get it done. And so if you're making these strides, you need someone in your life. If you don't have it already, and we're talking about people that are not tied to you emotionally, we're talking about people that are not, not your parents. The parents are good counsel, but I'm talking about somewhere you put some money at. You put something, you give your 2 mites, whatever it is that you have, in order to connect with people that's going to help you exponentially increase more effectively to become the person that you want to become to acquire that thing that you want to acquire.
Absolutely. You want to stand on shoulders of giants this year, and you have to find it is vitally important this year that you find your king of Salem, because the king of Salem or the queen of Salem for you is going to change your life this year. They just absolutely are. I know it without a shadow of a doubt. If you choose to invest your 10%, your returns are going to be incredible. But we can't do this year, and we can't do in 2015. And what all that we've done in 2015, those changes that we need to make, we can't take the baggage into 2016 is really what I'm trying to say. Is we have to be different this year in 2016. That means that if you read the book, then you have to do whatever the jewels are in those books. Don't just read for understanding, but actually do the work. And so you have to use wisdom with that thing in order to get it done. So if I want a better body, I can read about it. I can get the program. I can get the supplements. But then what you have to do is you have to take all of that stuff. You have to do all that. You have to stretch, and you got to do your push-ups. Nobody can do your push-ups for you.
Nobody can do it for you. So here's a tip, guys, for those that are saying, hey, I'm going to find that person in my life. I'm going to recognize, I'm going to search for my king or queen of Melchizedek, or my king of Salem, I'm sorry. Know that the king of Salem, the word Salem itself means peace. Word Salem itself means peace. So although this individual may not necessarily, they may challenge you, there's still peace within that relationship. There's still peace there, and you're welcoming the positive reinforcement. You're welcoming the constructive criticism because they're coming from a place of trust. They're coming from a place of concern, and there is peace there. So again, they might challenge you, but there's still peace in that challenge because they're pushing you forward. They're pushing you towards success. They're partnering with you towards your success. So again, as you're looking for your king or your queen of Salem this year, the key word is peace. But don't mistake peace for meaning, oh, it's not challenging. Don't mistake peace for meaning that, oh, they're not going to push me. Don't mistake that peace for something like that. That means that there's an inner understanding of, okay, this person is really here to help me grow. This person is really here to help me grow.
They have your best interest in mind. And what your coach is going to help you find this year is going to be your Eulerian destiny. I just learned that probably about 5 or 6 days ago, and it popped up again as I was reading in The Alchemist. But the Eulerian destiny, there's a guy by the name of Tai Lopez, and you may have seen him on YouTube, the guy that reads a book a day. But very, very valuable. Very, very valuable information. At first, I thought he was just kind of a weird guy, but he truly is the truth. But he talks about the Eulerian destiny, and it is the 5 major points in your life that intersect. The 5 major points in your life that intersect. And so I'll write on that today and just kind of give you some more information about the Eulerian destiny and how you may be able to apply the 5 major points in your life, and where those major points intersect in your life, you find your Eulerian destiny or your personal legend, which is very interesting.
Yeah, so we're talking about personal legend. Personal legend is from The Alchemist. Today we're going to talk about investment, the cost of its return. The interesting piece between the gypsy and the king of Melchizedek and Santiago on his journey. And so, guys, you can kind of follow up with us. Hopefully, we'll be through part number 1 by tomorrow. So we'll finish up part 1 tomorrow, and then we'll be moving into part 2 come Monday. But we are here Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we get on for about 30, 45 minutes, really just to get the day started. We're in the East Coast, so it's early morning for us, but we got people in Australia and in United Kingdom, all over the world. So, we don't know what time it is for you, but you can catch us here at this time, and this is what we're going to do, because this is what it is. It's the Wealthy, Healthy, Happy Show. And so I want to thank you so much for joining us today. That's our time today here at the Wealthy, Healthy, Happy Show. I'm your host, ERGJ, your certified financial educator, and Mr. Beatles is in the building.
What's going on? This is Mr. Beatles, your financial planner and small business developer. We are wealthy. We're healthy. Make sure that you go to the website today. Take a look around. We've made some updates. We're excited about it, so we want to share it with you. We're wealthy. We're healthy. We're happy. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. And we are out.
We're out.